The History of Internships at the United Nations. Part 1. Educational Internships. The UN Internship Programme was first introduced in the 1950s. It was implemented by the UN Department of Public Information and approved by the General Assembly. Initially, the internship programme at the UN was expected to be an educational experience for those taking part. As stated in the 14th meeting of the General Assembly, the objective of the programme is to provide the participants with an opportunity to acquire a deeper understanding of the principles, purposes, and activities of the UN. However, over time this changed, with an increasing reliance on gratis personnel to perform core functions. Due to HR rules failing to keep up with these changes, interns now represent 85% of Type 1 gratis personnel. The History of Internships at the United Nations. Part 2. Paid Internships. Originally, the UN allocated a budget to provide stipends. The General Assembly accepted the Fifth Committee's recommendation to approve a limited amount of $72,000 for the internship program in 1958. This money was to finance stipends for 60 interns and travel expenses for 20 guide interns. However, this proposal was short-lived. The 13th session of the General Assembly was a turning point where the UN Secretariat started to decrease the budget for the internship program, finally ending financing its interns altogether. In 1994, Secretary-General Boutros Boutros-Ghali proposed the re-implementation of a paid internship program, but the General Assembly decided to postpone due to a lack of resources. The History of Internships at the United Nations. Part 3. Gratis Personnel. Since 1996, UN interns have been explicitly considered Type 1 gratis personnel, differentiating them from Type 2 personnel, such as military officers in peacekeeping operations. Gratis personnel is a classification of workers whose financing is not the responsibility of the United Nations. The salaries of all gratis personnel are generally paid by the institutions of their home countries, except for interns. Interns are responsible for their own financing, or must find sponsoring institutions who will support them. The removal of interns from this classification is essential to enable the UN to allocate budget and finally pay its interns. The History of Internships at the United Nations, Part 4. Change. The UN Secretariat and the Member States have been sending intern advocates from pillar to post. In principle, they are both in a position to end unpaid internships. The quickest way to do it is through signing a new administrative instruction by the UN Under-Secretary-General for Management. However, the UN Secretariat has so far failed to walk the talk on its commitment to fight increased inequalities and empower youth. Another way to achieve this goal is through convincing member states to pass a new policy, specifically removing interns from gratis personnel. If agreement on this issue is reached in the Fifth Committee, the UN Secretariat will have no choice but to implement a better and fairer UN internship policy.